Hi, do you guys have tea? Yeah, green? No thanks. Chai? No. Breakfast? No. Our manager is fucking our stock boy and her husband has no idea. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy. A little off-air chatter before the record button was hit about all the stuff going on in the wrestling world. No, we're not doing a We Enjoy Wrestling podcast, but we were just drawing about the CM Punk, Kenny Omega, Young Buck situation and how crazy it is and who's at fault for what and what's true and what isn't and all the things that go along with wrestling. Eric, I hate shoot shit. I hate backstage chaos. And I also, and this brings out the worst in me, because I hate being a conspiracy theorist who thinks every shoot is an angle. But damn it, I'm like, the ratings for Dynamite tomorrow night, because we record this on a Tuesday night, are going to be huge.
All I know, Matt, is you just said a bunch of words and names that a lot of people won't know.
That's true. That's true. And those who do know would say, hey, why did you guys just talk about how We Enjoy Wrestling? And
Hangman shoots? Is this a Top Gun Maverick reference you're making, Matt?
Top Gun Maverick. What is it? The fifth biggest domestic hit in the North America at this point, right?
It's
1.45 billion. Yeah. We are the Mattitude, Eric. I'm Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, they had MJF. He was coming on Dynamite. That's all you needed. MJF versus Punk. It all writes itself. Why do people cut it? It's all stupid. Meanwhile, in WWE, things are rosier than ever.
I know.
Triple H is making things better.
Everything.
He's giving everyone their names back. He's bringing back in people who got fired. He was just named he got a promotion or at least a new title, Chief Content Officer. I don't know. It's all crazy because people were hopping over to AEW in the first place because they said the backstage area, because it was a better, less toxic place to work.
I know. And then look what happens.
Look what's happening. Well. All right. Today, in our main event, one of the two Halloween movies.
Look what's happening.
Yeah, look what's happening. A Halloween movie where Michael fucking Myers actually kills Laurie fucking Strode. I can't.
Spoiler alert if you didn't watch Halloween Resurrection. But it's okay.
Halloween Resurrection from 2002. 20-year-old movies, I don't think.
Yes.
That's probably right at the edge of
20-year-old movies that have already been retconned multiple times.
That have already been completely ignored continuity-wise. It doesn't matter. This was a ridiculous movie. I haven't decided. You know me. I'm no ranker. I'm not a ranker. Yeah. I don't know if it's worse or on par with Curse of Michael Myers, but we'll get into it later. Yeah. Especially considering how much these movies make me angry with what they do with their heroines in the first 10 minutes.
It is pretty amazing, right? There's a few similarities. Obviously the plots are very different, but there's a few echoes that I realized Curse and Resurrection have of each other.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
That's one of them.
Yeah, all right. Because you really want those movies to echo each other. Very slim pickings for news, and that's weird considering that we recorded the last podcast, I think, last Monday, because you were going away. So it's been a while. It's been more than a week now, and not much is really stirring up. So let's just get into.
Though again, we're recording this on Tuesday this week, and
Disney Plus Day is
Disney Plus Day alone. Next week we'll talk about everything that comes out of D23 Expo. So yeah, there'll be the mouse will provide.
The mouse always provides, as long as it's not Zaslavian news. I don't give a shit. Right. Okay, and then personal minutia time. How was your birthday trip? Happy birthday!
Thank you. It's really fun. It's that funny mixture of very exhausting fun. And it was really just 3 concentrated days of theme parking. But that can take a toll. But no, we had a really good time. Really good time at Epcot with the food and the wine and the festivals. And great time at Horror Nights, which was really cool. It was interesting year at Horror Nights because there's a lot less IP than familiar IP than usual. Usually it's like weighted towards like, movies and TV show based stuff, and like 4 like, original concepts, and this year it was like 50-50. But no, it was really cool, really fun. They actually did a Halloween maze, which again is funny because they've done Halloween a million times. The original Halloween, it was like the 3rd or 4th time they've done Halloween 1 as a maze. But it was really cool because I was like, well, what do you do when you've done Halloween that many times? And Matt, they thought of a couple things that I was very impressed by, like making one section the Smith's Grove escapees, like that's a part skipped over in previous mazes. So it's like,
you mean one of the creepiest moments in the movie when they're all just wandering around in the rain?
Yeah. So it's like there's like a cage separating you from a line of inmates, and first time Nurse Marianne got to be played by a scare actor. She's cowering there, and then Loomis is yelling the evil is gone. And yeah, that was really cool. And then they had a little part with Michael as his bedroom before he kills Judith, like kind of seeing a part of the house we don't see, and we don't see until resurrection. But yeah, it was well done, and I had a very good time. And I also, lastly, before we move on from my theme park adventure, I went to Volcano Bay for the first time, which is Universal's water park. And
did you go wee like Michael Myers did in Curse of Michael Myers?
I did. I thought about him a lot because
I was wearing a jumpsuit and a mask.
Yes, they have their what do they call it? Okay, so there's everyone knows, like not everyone knows, but most people probably know at this point, like a lazy river, which you find at a lot of resorts and whatnot. But they have a lazy river at Volcano Bay, but they have a intense river. I can't remember the term. They don't
roaring rapids.
It's not
like a roaring rapids.
But it's the thing where
is it a roaring rapids?
It's not a roaring rapids.
Were you in a circular donut going around through roaring rapids?
No, you have a circular donut on the lazy river. Okay. On this one, they do not let you get into any sort of inner tube or anything. You have to wear a life jacket. Okay. But you just Michael Myers in Halloween 5 style, you're just being propelled,
Okay, but you're like you're free floating in the water. You're not in an apparatus.
You're free floating with a jacket on, so you won't sink and drown.
Okay. But yeah, but that's a new one on me. I mean, I haven't been in water parks in a hot minute, but yeah, like just going through super fast down a roaring rapids river.
Yeah.
Feet dangling.
Fearless River, that's what they refer to it as.
All right.
We loved it, Trish and I. We stayed in it forever. You just circle, and then sometimes there'll be kind of like tidal wave areas, as you're going around, and it gets and you can float on your back a bit, but you can't do it too long because you'll careen into other people. But we had a great time. So thumbs up. And I slathered myself in sunblock because I burn easily, and I came a little crispy, but not too bad. And a fun time was had, and now my feet are very, very, very sore. So there
you should soak them in Fearless River.
I should.
I went to the Duran Duran concert last week. A band, an 80s band that I love. The first band I think I ever liked, or at least enough to spend my own money as an 8-year-old and buy their record. First album I ever bought with my own hard-earned, probably just give it to me, money. Actually, I probably earned that money mowing my grandparents' lawn, I'm assuming. Yeah, and they played Wild Boys and Union of the Snake and View to a Kill. I'm just gonna list their set list the way I list all the actors in the movies I recommend. Yeah, just gonna say, and then they played. Yeah, and then but yeah, because I've been having some luck with specifically up till this point, I've been having bad luck with Echo and the Bunnymen, who canceled at the Cruel World Fest because they were one of the top tier bands that was playing at Cruel World. They pulled out. I was super bummed because I really wanted to see them, but it was a festival with a lot of other acts that I wanted to see, including some I wanted to see more. Mm-hmm. Then I was going to see them in Houston, and they canceled an hour before the show. Now they've been postponed till the end of September. We'll see what happens. But the morning after Duran Duran, we were going to go see Bauhaus here, who we saw at Cruel World, but they were just doing a North American tour on their own. And then the morning after Duran Duran, they canceled their entire North American tour because Peter Murphy went into rehab. So not having the best luck with these 80s band. Granted, these are 40-plus-year-old bands with aging members and different things happening. Duran Duran, though, I knew would show up. They're just show uppers. They are professionals. They know what they're doing, and I've never known them really to cancel much. So very exciting to see them. And Eric, last question before we get into this very minuscule news. Why did you, because you tagged me on Twitter, why did you go for the vegan option on that menu? And I say this as a vegan who also knows I have no choice, and but I'm also forever grateful if there is one vegan option on a menu. I am never guaranteed that it's a good option though, and it will taste good. So I am worried that you had a vegan option on that the Chili Lee Ray burger at the Chucky food stand, and it wasn't good because it's very well could not have been good.
No, because I had to eat from the Chuck. So at Halloween Horror Nights, this is Orlando we're talking about because they are different experiences every year at the two Orlando and Hollywood. Orlando has a Chucky. There's no Chucky house or scare zone as there has been in the past, but there is a Chucky food stand there. And I had to eat there. Like it was just a must.
Of course.
Yeah. But then their food was pretty wacky there. I didn't want the crazy good guys burger, which was a burger, and this other places have done the burger in a donut, the donut bun thing. But this was like a crazy burger, Matt, because it was a donut bun and it had like Fruit Loops on top. They kind of evoke the color of like Chucky's stripes on his shirt.
All right, I'm pulling up the menu here. Yeah. Good guys burger, beef burger with crispy pork belly, cheddar cheese sauce, pickled jalapenos, donut bun topped with red icing.
That was not. I wasn't doing that.
All right. What was the? Okay, so there was another one.
There was a beignet.
It was a hot chicken sandwich with pimento cheese stuffed beignet.
I almost got the chicken, but again, it was doing the sweet and savory together, which I'm not against. Chicken and waffles is great. But I just decided to just go simple and get the Chili Lee Ray, because I love that it was called the Chili Lee Ray.
Sure.
And
I mean, why do we do things except for the bit 50% of the time, right? So
right.
50% for the bit, right?
And it was a vegan chili. So what I will say about it is it was this is not what I thought I'd say about it. Maybe because I equate vegan with weak. No, it was spicy as hell, Matt. I couldn't finish it. It tasted good, but it was too spicy. Like I was drinking a bunch of Coke because it was like
I'm looking for stuff in the ingredients that would say that it was spicy, and nothing really tips you off that it's spicy except that it's vegan quinoa chili. I guess that was just spicy.
Yeah, because I had a different chili.
Because the rest is hominy and micro cilantro and vegan feta cheese, which isn't spicy.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
at the same park, I had a mac and cheese with chili, and that was not nearly not this same vegan chili, and that was not nearly as spicy. So it was good, but too spicy for me.
Welcome to the party, pal. It's all spicy.
I'm reading a review.
Also, vegan is all just fart food too, so it lends to Chucky's gonna fart, which should have been the name of that food stand.
Which should have been the name. One of the mini theme park websites that are out there, who I love because they get to do like updates, like bathroom out of order in Tomorrowland articles. But one of the theme park websites, I'm looking at their review of the Chucky booth food. And they say the chili was spicy, delicious, and had a lot of heat and flavor to it. I'd agree, but just a little too spicy for my taste.
If that's the case, if it was too spicy for you, then the actual labeled Nashville hot chicken may have been too spicy for you.
Maybe I would have exploded like in the Super Fire Hot Chicken sketch with Christian Slater on SNL. The Wanna Play Beignet. That's what that one was. The Good Guy Burger, Chili Lee Ray, and the Wanna Play Beignet. So there you go.
Eric was not feeling adventurous, yet adventurous enough to go vegan. All right.
There you go.
Let's get into so this is
Matt, I ate vegan with you. I ate 20 pounds of bananas when I ordered.
That was your fault.
Was it French toast or waffles?
It was French toast right after you asked me if vegan bread was actually bread.
Yes.
And the answer is yes, it is. It's just bread. And then it comes topped with seasonal fruit. And then
Yes.
and you said you wanted bananas.
I said I just wanted bananas.
Just bananas. So Eric,
But
what did
then
they gave you? Just
they
bananas.
dumped like 8 whole bananas on top of this thing.
I feel like they were in it for the bit at that point.
I think they were too.
Like,
this guy only
I'll give
wants
them all
bananas.
the fucking bananas.
That's right.
Banana the hell out of this vegan noob. All right. We were getting into wrestling gossip before this podcast started recording. We will not get into Don't Worry, Darling gossip. Because it doesn't serve anything here. I don't think we're not that type of podcast. B, I don't really know all of it. It's like I kind of I get it peripherally. I get it sort of in a cursory way, and I don't even know if I'm clear on all of it, so I don't want to make a mistake. Okay,
I don't need to talk about it. I'll just repeat a tweet I made, which is that I follow.
Is how you gonna be like CM Punk, where you're like, I don't need to talk about it. Talks about it for 6 minutes. Yeah,
No, just to say that I could tell you everything that happened, but I'm not going to. But just to say that it is funny that following enough Twitter accounts that it was like just seeing my Twitter filled with people being like, "Oh my god," about the Venice Film Festival and that movie and AEW wrestling gossip. So it's just a funny thing. And there are a few people following both, but not a lot. So
I will say that I don't know if it's just because I see a lot of movies because, we're back in theaters now. Or they're just not releasing as many still. Like I felt
or especially right now.
At the end of the summer, I felt was really dry and September's really dry. But I think it's also like, so when I go see movies now, and even when I go see things like I went and saw tonight, like They Live, like old, movies, like I still see trailers at Alamo. I have seen the trailer for Don't Worry, Darling, the Banshee of whatever that fucking movie is, The Menu, The Triangle of Sadness. Like I've seen the same trailers over and over for about 2.5 months, and I'm kind of sick of it. All of this gossip, by the way, for a movie that I feel like that I was excited about for about 2 weeks until I saw the trailer too many times, that I feel like will be decidedly meh. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
How it flips out.
But this lull and the studios not having a lot of big releases right now is leading to that trailer repeat thing. Not as bad, but reminiscent of last year when the theaters were reopening and big movies were coming out again. And I saw the goddamn Free Guy. I'm sure I talked about this last year. Like I saw the Free Guy trailer. Like it felt like dozens of times, just like, inescapable, the Free Guy trailer.
I'll say this because it leads us into our first news story, which isn't really a news story. It's just something to talk about. I see the same trailers no matter what movie I'm seeing. Like no matter what the genre is, it's the same movie trailers.
Yeah.
And that being said, last year, I believe, from like early May to when it came out in August, I saw the Night House trailer non-stop. Now,
really,
you recommended the Night House, as a good thing to enjoy. I then saw it a few months later, absolutely loved it. I've come to love it even more, and now that it's on cable, it's a movie I just put on the background sometimes. I adore the Night House. I even like the ending that you were a little shaky on. I feel like, and so this leads us into the first image of Jamie Clayton, who was on Sense8 as Pinhead from the Hellraiser movie from David Bruckner, who did The Night House, who also did a movie I didn't realize I had seen that he did. Well, he did a part of it. I saw The Signal. I rented it on DVD back when Netflix sent DVDs. I think they still do. To your home, and I watched The Signal, and The Signal was like it wasn't a VHS, and it was kind of like an anthology thing, but it was all one story, and David Bruckner wrote and directed the first one of 3 of those stories. So
because he also has a segment in VHS.
In VHS, exactly. Yeah. He has a segment in both VHSs, right? Because he did the one in 2021 too.
Oh,
no, he didn't.
There's several VHS movies now.
He wrote a segment and he didn't direct it. But yeah, he did the one back in 2012. And but it makes me want to watch a movie that I've always wanted to watch on Netflix and never got around to it, The Ritual, which I hear is great.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
But anyway, I am very excited for this Hellraiser movie, sort of a reimagining reboot of Hellraiser. So it's not any part of the continuation, right? It's sort of starting anew.
I mean, we'll see, because I think they might have said something recently that makes you think for a second, like that they could have that like ethereal connection, you know.
I really like the sort of new designed Cenobites and Cenobites. I want to make sure I say Cenobites and not Cenobites. And Jamie Clayton, she looks badass in this role. I can't wait for this film. It's early October. I think it's the week before Halloween ends, so cool horror is coming our way as usual in October.
Yep. It goes to show you again, not to be a Disney shill and not to say everything Disney does is good and right, but there's always this thing about like oh, they're gonna Disneyfy it and Disney and this, and when from people who just don't understand how many different things Disney puts out. So I was just thinking about how Prey is Disney, which I fucking love. The movie
this is coming to Hulu, by the way.
And this is Hellraiser is gonna and looks cool, is gonna be a Disney movie on Hulu. The movie I'm gonna recommend later on, and when we do our recommendations, is a Disney movie. Anyway, it just
not to hone in on gender here, because Cenobites seem to be rather non-distinct and or non-binary, but this would make Pinhead actually now a Disney princess. So yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Time for it.
And then this is just more amusing than anything because of we assume this is because of the success of Top Gun Maverick.
Well, no, this was already happening beforehand.
I mean like this title of this.
Oh, the title, yes.
No, the titling. Well,
yeah.
A follow-up to Beverly Hills Cop has been trying to get off the ground for, I feel like, 20 years. Like, whether it was a movie and then it was a CBS series and then it was going to be a streaming series.
Well, they made a pilot, Sean Ryan,
and then, so now, finally, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley, which, again, Maverick being the lead character of Top Gun, they wanted to let you know that this Top Gun sequel was about Tom Cruise. Not that it would feature him in a cameo or in a recurring part, like a few minutes here and there. He was the lead of this movie. Beverly Hills Cop, the follow-up, the fourth film in this series, is going to be called Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley. Just to let you know, he's in there. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in it. I don't know who else is in it, but
Joseph Gordon-Levitt was announced, and I can't remember an actress announced for it. But the most important thing, Matt, was that there are some set pictures. People have been seeing pictures from the set. And
is he putting bananas in tailpipes?
I don't know about bananas. I do know about the bananas that I got in Vegas, but I don't know in this movie. But the most important photo that people saw on the set was Judge Reinhold and John Ashton together.
Oh my God! I was just going to
Rosewood and Taggart are back.
I was going to ask
Ashton
if
wasn't
John
in
Ashton
the third
was
one,
alive,
but he's back.
But is John? Yeah, I was like, I wasn't sure if John Ashton was alive. I was pretty
alive?
sure Judge Reinhold was alive.
Well, I knew Judge Reinhold was alive. I also had some questions about John Ashton, but they are both in this movie. Maybe in who knows if it's one scene or not, but they're in this movie.
I mean, Ronnie Cox is still alive.
Ronnie Cox, Paul Reiser is obviously still alive. He's on a lot of different streaming shows.
Yeah.
I will say. Beverly Hills Cop, it's so weird because
Paul Reiser was part of the Detroit crew.
He would have
to be two Beverly Hills cops. Two cops going from Detroit to Beverly Hills.
But he was in the first two. It's just funny because I think he was in the beginning of the second as well.
Didn't the captain in Detroit get killed at the beginning of Beverly Hills Cop 3?
Maybe. I barely remember 3 except for George Lucas having a cameo. And that they filmed it at Paramount's theme park that they had at the time. But anyway, it's so funny to me and weird to me that so Top Gun Maverick, obviously the success of Top Gun Maverick is absolutely insane. Like nobody saw that coming. Like people, it was more like will this movie be a hit or not a will this be the biggest movie of the year? Like that wasn't even like seem possible, right? And it's just such
I don't know. I saw someone leave a comment once that said, "Who asked for this?"
Right, exactly.
I don't know. That guy had some good ideas. I don't know.
He had some great ideas. He was on the internet and he was angry. But anyway, it a couple years ago, obviously things keep moving and changing with streaming and these windows, and isn't how should movies go straight to streaming? Should they go to theaters? Is just being in a theater alone help a movie's spotlight on it? Anyway, it does seem crazy that this movie, that Paramount sold this movie to Netflix a couple years ago. Again, this after so many years of development, a couple years ago is when Paramount sold it to Netflix, and it seemed like it was going to finally happen, and now it is happening. They're actually filming it. But again, I'm not saying if they made Beverly Hills Cop 4 and put it in the theater, it would make Top Gun Maverick money. I'm just saying it could probably be a hit. And so it just seems strange.
Let's remember why Top Gun Maverick made Top Gun Maverick money.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking great.
No, I mean, like, that was
just make a great movie. How about that? Like,
that is it. That is a great key to success. Not
and that,
always.
Again, that's not to say that great movies don't bomb,
or that shitty movies
people don't
make
exactly.
a lot of money. Yeah,
but like that's the big. That's why it had such theater legs. Lack of competition, but also like word of mouth. People seeing it again and again and again. So yeah.
Anyway, and obviously a spectacle movie, especially Tom Cruise making that movie these days. Well, I'm really flying the plane, and you see it in IMAX and all these things. Beverly Hills Cop would never be that. But
yeah, he's like, I'm really putting the bananas in there. I'm sticking them in.
All right. But my point is, it could have been a box office hit, and now it won't be because it will not be a movie. I mean, it's Netflix. They'll probably give it some cursory release. But anyway, just strange to see, especially because I don't know if I never see you playing it, Matt. Do you play that box office game on Twitter? A lot of us
No,
play.
I see you play it. I don't play games, Eric, on Twitter. Right. I don't play Twitter games. I don't play Wordle or any of that. Yeah.
That game where you're just like it's like, here's the top 5 movies for a given weekend, and you're trying to guess what they are, and you can uncover more and more hints, but of course you'll get less points each hint you do. Anyway, the other day, it was Memorial Day weekend 1985 was the top 5 for that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was number 5. But in that top 5 was motherfucking Beverly Hills Cop in its 28th week of release, which came out in December 1984. And again, biggest hit of 1984, beat Ghostbusters, which had been the biggest hit of the year, but ultimately would not be because Beverly Hills Cop was such a giant hit. It's just crazy. Yes.
The first one was made for like 10 million, and it made over 300. Like, it was a huge hit. If they can bring back Lisa Eilbacher, I think that's her name, who played Jenny in the first movie. Again, bring back all the people. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. People want to see all the old people. Bring back Bronson Pinchot.
Oh yeah. He was in the third one. I remember that.
Oh, was he? See, I don't even know if I saw the third one aside from the beginning. Maybe I don't know. I seem to remember the Detroit Captain died.
Did he get Laurie Strode?
He did. It was even worse than what happened to Laurie and Jamie combined. What happened to him? He was held captive for like a decade. He was impregnated somehow. Okay, wow. That's all we got to say about that. Now, some people wrote in this week. We gave a little bit of write-in listener homework, which was if there was a video game movie. If Wes Anderson directed a video game movie, what should it be? Mm-hmm. Curtis writes in Wes Anderson's Star Fox. You ever play any Star Fox games? Or
I didn't have it myself, but friends of mine had it, and I would play it at their place. Yeah.
Curtis mentions this might be too easy, but Wes Anderson's Star Fox, I assume because of the Fantastic Mr. Fox. But yeah. Then Torolf writes in, Wes Anderson could do a Hitman movie. A bald Ray Fiennes would star, and it would be episodic like The French Dispatch. A bunch of quirky characters played by the usual Anderson cast could be in it. The hitmen would kill them one by one.
Adrian Brody.
Funny, absurd, and sometimes bloody ways. Well, William over on Twitter said that he'd love to see a Mario Brothers movie with, here we go, here's the casting. Jason Schwartzman as Mario, Adrian Brody as Luigi, Jeff Goldblum as Bowser, Luke and Owen Wilson as the Hammer Brothers, Willem Dafoe as Donkey Kong, and Saoirse Ronan as Peach.
In.
Mike also writes in, following up with the message that he put in last time that I commented on about The Quarry. Mike writes, "Dear Enjoy Boys, for my first homework assignment, I can
Enjoy Boys. I don't know if I love it or hate it. I think I love it.
I think I super love it. For my first homework assignment, I can confirm that
Matt, we should get matching shirts that say Enjoy Boys.
Enjoy Boys.
That could go very wrong
or very right. Either way,
Right.
I'm for whatever interpretation people choose to pull from that shirt. It's up.
I hope people understand that we are the Enjoy Boys.
I hope they don't. I hope they don't. I hope they. I just, it's art is for the observer. Okay, Eric.
Sure.
So my first homework assignment, I can confirm that you have no input while playing movie mode in the quarry. No decisions, no quick time events, nothing. You can pick the version where everyone lives, where everyone dies, or select each character's personality traits and see how it all turns out. For my second homework assignment, Wes Anderson should direct a Mortal Kombat movie. I want pastel ninjas, Owen Wilson as Johnny Cage, and Bill Murray as Shao Kahn. And then
I like all these casting ideas.
These are all great. Thank you, everyone, for continuing to listen to us and support us over these past few years as we go through these Halloween movies. And we're over on Patreon at patreon.com/We Enjoy Podcast. And for $2 a month, you can get a commercial-free version of this podcast. $4, you can get that plus bonus episodes. And we actually figured out our second bonus episode for September, and then we'll probably drop it next week.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to do with a season of a show that is hitting Netflix this weekend. What could that be? We should just tell them. Why am I holding back? Why not telling people what it is?
You're being coy.
We're going to cover.
The coy boy.
We have talked about it on the podcast. We're going to cover, because did we talk about it in conjunction with our Karate Kid-a-thon?
We never did a Karate Kid-a-thon. I wanted to do a Karate Kid.
No, we went through all the Karate Kids, Eric.
Did?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, we did.
Did we do that on this podcast?
It was either this one or We Enjoy Wrestling, but we did it. I don't know why we would have done it on We Enjoy Wrestling. Because of Cobra Kai? By the way, we're doing this month we'll do Avatar, which is being re-released in theaters, and we're doing Cobra Kai season 5.
Wow, I feel like I'm having a you moment that I'm forgetting that we did that.
You're making me feel like I'm having a me moment where I'm completely misremembering everything.
No, you're probably right.
Because we went through them all. We talked about, I remember, who else would I have gone through Karate Kid movies and watched Karate Kid, the fourth one, for the first time?
Here's what
Why would I do that and just talk to, like, am I talking to my shadow self?
Here's my memory, and I think I'm right. You did, in the last couple of years, you watched them all, including your first time seeing Next Karate Kid, and we talked about that, and maybe even a little on the podcast, but we did not do it as a series on the podcast. This is my recollection.
I don't think
now. I could be.
I feel like we went through the movie though.
I don't remember.
Not just talking about it.
No, I don't remember. I feel like I'd remember if we talked about Make and Bake and all that.
I'm blaming COVID brain fog on this one.
All right.
Someone out there knows the answer. Someone listening to this knows, and then we'll.
I'm looking at the list, my beautiful list of our episodes of this podcast, and I do not see any Karate Kids. That doesn't mean we didn't talk about it. We Enjoy Wrestling, because we did do movie episodes on that. But I
feel like we already knew the ones we did for We Enjoy Wrestling.
Yeah, I think we've not done. I mean, I'm up for it at some point, but we don't think we've done the Karate. And the reason I didn't push for it harder was because you'd so recently. Well, I think we even talked about that. Like, I think going into season 4 of Cobra Kai, I thought, oh, maybe we could do the Karate Kid movies, and you had just recently-ish watched all of them.
Wow, I have lost my goddamn mind. I am gone. Good. Hello, friends. I'm here. Goodbye, friends. I am gone. Either way, that doesn't change what our special episode is. It just changes.
We're going to talk about Cobra
the fact that I need to seek serious psychiatric treatment, which is Cobra Kai season 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And that'll come. We'll do that next week along with the Halloween reboot from 2007. Yes. Rob Zombie's Halloween.
The second movie in this franchise called Halloween. But this one from 2007. So again, be careful when you're searching to watch the right of 3 choices. A movie called Halloween. This one's the 2007 Halloween.
Oh boy. What's a good thing to enjoy this week, Eric? What's your good thing? We talked about this a little. as soon as you recommend it, I'll tell people what I texted you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. No, my recommendation is a brand new movie opening in theaters this weekend. We were just talking about how this is a lull for big releases, and what I mean by that are like potential sort of blockbusters. Like Bullet Train was the last one, like a potential like $100 million plus hit. Now we have this long break before that, but yes, things are being
All
released.
the big breaks actually are happening over on TV with Rings of Power, House of the Dragon,
Yes.
like Andor coming out, She-Hulk. Like that's where that's where the action is.
That's where the action is. But meanwhile, there is stuff coming out, and there's a lot of horror stuff coming out, which of course, horror movies are a very dependable thing as far as low budget, high, so they can be very profitable. They don't have to be giant hits to, a movie can make $20 million and it's still a very nice success if it costs a small enough amount. Anyway, this weekend sees the release of Barbarian. As I was referencing earlier, Disney's Barbarian, because this is a 20th Century Fox movie. And the thing about Barbarian is I want to say as little as possible about the plot. If you've seen the trailer, it's
which I have seen like 17 times. Again, this is another one that's been
you're
the
definitely
rotation
getting
a lot.
more repeats, right? Although I keep forgetting. It's funny with all the controversy about it. Don't Worry, Darling. Is that the title?
Yep.
I have seen that one a shitload, but I haven't seen Barbarian. I probably saw.
There's actually been two of those.
There have been two different
trailers.
Yes. Although I mostly see the Don't Worry, Darling trailer at Draft House, and you go to Draft House more than me. So
I kind of only go to Draft House.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm getting all the same ones.
Anyway, Barbarian has a very cool trailer that is also commendable in the year of our Lord 2022 for not telling you everything that's going to happen in the movie, for basically just giving you the bare minimum setup, which is a girl arrives at a house late at night. It's her Airbnb she's supposed to stay at. Can't get in because it turns out someone's already in the house, and he's like, "What? I'm booked to stay here too. Oh my God, they double booked us. Come inside and we'll work this all out." And that's all I want to say. Because suffice to say, there's a lot of reasons that you're screaming at the screen, "Don't go in there with this guy." And they, we'll talk about the filmmaker in a second, but he's well aware of like what you're thinking with this.
Because that's the thing of the trailer.
Yeah.
All I see is like basically a minute and a half of a woman making poor decisions. And that's all they're showing me, which is like, hey, come in, stay here, lock the door, go down the cellar, like all the things, like at every point someone should just leave. And I know that's a big funny trope for all horror movies, is just go when you shouldn't, and people yell at the screen because of that.
Again, Trish wouldn't watch The Guest for years because she had to get past the why would that woman ever let this guy in who says I was friends with your son?
Right.
There's always that kind of, sometimes you have to go with that thing at the beginning.
Well, I first of all, so the whole thing is like seeing this trailer, and then like Justin Long crawls out of nowhere, and I'm like, he's barely shown in the trailer, and he's kind of like would have been like a notable face to put front and center if this movie was actually showing you its hand. The other thing is, it's at the end of the trailer, it's called Barbarian, and you have no idea why. So there were a lot of things. So I texted Eric, and I was like, Eric, what the fuck is Barbarian about, or something like that, because I knew you'd seen it.
Yeah.
And then I realized, that it was a movie where very purposely, and like you said, good for the studio for holding back, where they could have just shown a lot and maybe made more money ultimately, because people would have been driven more toward the theater.
We'll see. I mean, I think there's, they've done some screenings. They screened it at Comic-Con, where Prey also screened. I think they are, hoping on good word of mouth, because
who directed this? What's this guy?
And that's what I was going to talk about. The director is Zach Kreger, who you might not know his name, but he is one of the whitest kids who, if you don't know that name, it's not just an identification. Whitest kids
with Trevor Moore.
With the late Trevor Moore.
Yeah.
A comedy troupe who also had a TV show of the same name, a sketch comedy troupe. Zach Kreger, one of, I think they were a trio, right? There might have been more of them. There were more. Anyway, though, Zach Kreger, one of the whitest kids and he's been in several sitcoms since. So it's just, and I interviewed him for this movie, and I did ask him about like he being the latest of this trend of like the comedian making a horror movie. and Danny McBride writing Halloween movies, and Chris Rock writing and producing a Saw movie, and of course Jordan Peele being now like the master of horror, who 10 years ago that would have been a funny thing to hear. And Zach Cregger is friends with Jordan Peele and mentioned showing him this movie early on, showing him Barbarian. Anyway, all of which to say, I don't want to get into more details, and I just want to tell people, don't read up more about this movie. Try to go in as blind as possible. And it's very well done, and it's a great calling card movie as far as this is his feature. He's directed other stuff, sketch comedy stuff, but like Jordan Peele, this is like, hey, I'm doing, this is my first feature film. Watch this. And
I like comedians doing like sidestepping into horror. It's really cool. Fun ? Fact is that you and I worked with or in the same building as Trevor Moore's then fiance. She worked for MySpace.
When we worked when IGN
in the Beverly Hills MySpace building. All right. Let's see. So my good thing to enjoy is I think probably no surprise to anyone, as I actually a previous good thing to enjoy for me was Fletch from the 80s, starring Chevy Chase. And now, after much like Beverly Hills Cop, Fletch has been trying to people have been trying to actually get Fletch back onto the screen or in some capacity, like on TV or something, for a couple decades. One of them being Kevin Smith. Some of them
with he had Jason Lee attached,
or Ben Affleck, or
but the Miramax really wanted it to be Affleck. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is that he and Jason Sudeikis was attached at one point to do, and they all were sort of attached to different books. So, as I mentioned when I talked about the first Fletch, this is Gregory McDonald wrote, I don't know, 7 or 8 Fletch books. Like, they were a very popular mystery series from the late 70s into the 80s. And the first movie, Fletch, was based on the first book, Fletch. Right. Fletch Lives, the Chevy Chase follow-up movie, was not based on any book. It was just written for the screen. Now, in the year of our Lord 2022, Confess Fletch, the second book that Gregory McDonald wrote about Fletch, is coming to the screen with John Hamm, Mad Men's John Hamm, who has absolutely thrilled and amazed me post Mad Men with being a much better comedic actor than maybe even a dramatic actor, because he is hilarious in the roles he's had. By the way, John Hamm, star of mega money earner Top Gun Maverick.
That's right. That's right.
John Hamm stars as I Am Fletcher, aka Fletch, investigative reporter extraordinaire, and it's a new case where he, in the opening scene of the movie, you can watch the trailer, he goes into sort of, I guess it's another Airbnb situation, Eric, like Barbarian, where he goes in and he discovers a murdered woman in the place he was supposed to stay, that it's being rented for him. And someone is trying to make it look like he did it. Meanwhile, he's there for investigating sort of an art theft and a kidnapping, and all these things sort of like tie up by the end. Greg Mottola, who directed a bunch of movies you probably heard of, the biggest probably being Superbad, co-wrote and then directed this movie, and also has Marcia Gay Harden and Carl McLachlan and comedian Roy Wood Jr. and a Mad Men reunion with John Slattery.
Yeah,
John Slattery playing the character. I can't remember who the actor was who played him in the original Fletch movie. Frank. Richard Libertini played Frank in Fletch and Fletch Lives, and Frank was like his newspaper editor. And so John Slattery's playing that role here, and it's very funny to see them bark at each other and crack wise. And I thought Confess Fletch was hilarious. It is a small, humble movie. It's not, it doesn't go for broke. It's not like a large, broad comedy. It's more subtle, and it very much evokes the less out there and more subdued tones of the books, because for the with Chevy Chase they kind of blew it up a little bigger to mirror Chase's own style of humor. With like Fletch is somebody who will go and give fake names to people and pretend to be someone else, but like they gave Chevy Chase costumes and makeup and stuff like that to make him look sillier. This is more sort of in line with the Gregory McDonald prose. But Confess Fletch doesn't open this weekend. It opens next weekend.
next weekend. It'll be limited release because it's one of those simultaneous on digital VOD, not on a streaming service, but you can also buy it digitally at the same time.
I think there are a lot of people that we mentioned that I thought would have made great Fletches. You know, I think Jason Lee could have done it. I think Jason Sudeikis is just, but like, again, John Hamm is one of those people. Like,
that's true.
There are several people born to play Fletch. It's not just one person. I think John Hamm definitely falls into that category. So yeah.
I look forward to it. And the last thing John Hamm and John Slattery were both in was Wet Hot American Summer, the Netflix series. So I like this
First Day at Camp, or is this?
This was First Day at Camp. They were both in. Yeah.
And then so for those who know me and my love of the original Fletch, this is my end game.
There you go.
Me. Okay, let's talk Halloween Resurrection. As we already said, Halloween 2007 is next week. You can rent it or buy it.
Not on the streaming service.
You should just buy it because it's tremendous.
Yeah, I mean it's we're in a weird era with these Halloween movies because like H2O was so clearly like the one like crowd pleasing one during this run of movies, and now we're about to go into the Rob Zombie ones, and I'm not excited, and yet I am because they're the ones I've revisited the least. Like I've seen Resurrection more than I've watched. I haven't seen Halloween 2, the zombie version, since the theater. I've watched the first one we're going to watch next week. I've watched it like once or twice since.
I'll say this: there's two cool things that pop into my head regarding the Rob Zombie movies. One of which I won't say and save till next week, and the other one is that this Halloween 2, the second movie, which we won't get to for a few weeks, has an amazing poster. I love the actual poster for Halloween 2. Anyway, Halloween Resurrection. First time seeing it, obviously that means I did not see it in the theater when it came out. I can't imagine people didn't cheer when Busta Rhymes said "trick or treat, motherfucker" or something like that, or kicked Michael Myers through a goddamn window with kung fu. Those felt like almost overly obvious crowd pleasing moments.
I remember people like boisterously laughing at things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still pleasing people.
No. I mean, like it's so funny how he's like motherfucker and telling him. I saw this movie in the theater with my frequently mentioned friend April, not to be confused with Matt's friend April. We went and watched this and like Mike back to back in Burbank.
Nice.
For a great day at the movies.
Okay, so again, I am still astounded that there exists, and again, we don't know how Halloween ends, but there has existed a Halloween movie where Michael Myers straight up kills Laurie Strode. It's bonkers to me. Secondly, that it was also directed by the guy.
Wait, finally, the director returns to the franchise.
The director returns to the franchise, the one you've been waiting for. The director of Halloween 2, Rick Rosenthal.
Rick Rosenthal becomes the first person to direct 2 movies in this franchise, which is crazy.
And this movie, so we went from a really ugly, hard to follow movie with Curse of Michael Myers, the way it was shot and edited together.
Yeah.
And then we went to like, oh, wow, this is professionally done, even though it's missing a side story and it's probably shorter than it should be.
Yeah.
Halloween H2O looks great.
Mm-hmm.
This movie with the dark house and then also the grainy 2002 body cam cameras and the cutting back and forth between the footage was also a confusing dark mess. Not like quite on Curse level, but this was also like, this was really visually uninteresting to watch most of the time.
It was. It's funny because Halloween 2 looks a lot better now. Halloween 2 also has Dean Cundey as the cinematographer, who's like one of the best cinematographers ever. But also Halloween 2 was shot, but even if Dean Cundey didn't come back, but that's a big if, they obviously wanted it to look as much like the first one as they could because it's set on the same night and it was just supposed to be like the continuation.
It's funny because the pedigree, so especially with the David Gordon Green trilogy, where we're sort of back to wanting, at least, not necessarily getting, especially if we'll talk about Halloween Kills later, but like good, honorable, prestigious, esteemed Halloween movies.
Sure.
Halloween being one of the best horror movies and also one of the best movies ever made. we're kind of like Michael Myers has a little bit of an elevated status when it comes to his fellow slashers.
Yep.
Because nobody is like out there, unless you're John Carpenter pitching a movie, nobody is saying, put Michael Myers on the moon. No,
Right.
that's reserved for Jason Voorhees. That's like, shoot him into the multiverse. Like,
Right.
I want to see Jason ride a T-Rex and, battle God. I want to see, like put Jason anywhere, put him in the mouth of a volcano, make it shoot him out, and he cannonballs into someone's pool and he pops out with a machete. People aren't like that with Michael Myers. They like their Michael Myers because of the sort of vague qualities of the first movie that allow us to insert our own darkness, right? As far as like, who is he? The boogeyman? Is he supernatural? The first Halloween is so goddamn great that like when things go strangely askew with Michael Myers, it feels a little even more disappointing. Now, the premise of this movie, after you get past the first 10 minutes with Laurie, isn't terrible as far as like, I can see a horror movie about people having to stay
conceptually
in
this
the
is
house
not a terrible
of a killer.
idea. Yeah.
You have to stay the night in the house of a killer. And yeah, it's of a certain era, so it has to be reality TV and internet based and all that stuff because it's 2002 and so they're just aping the era. That's fine. Putting it with Halloween maybe was the wonky choice as far as like, but it's also Michael Myers. I'll say this though, Eric, it got them back into Haddonfield because the last movie wasn't even in Haddonfield.
It wasn't in Haddonfield. Yeah, so again, the fact that these movies start to be so spread out is so interesting because, and this happens with a lot of these series as they go on and they do become more spread out. They start to evoke their eras so much they start to mimic things, and that's always just an interesting like time capsule thing. And Curse wasn't really mimicking anything specific because Curse came out at a time when, as we talked about, like straight up horror as we think of it was fairly dormant, and so Curse looks like a mid-90s movie. But then H2O, it looks like the post-Scream movies and is very much in that vibe. Now we're 4 years after that, and the post-Scream movies have played out. And once more, this is opening in 2002, same year as Jason X. I remember seeing the posters for those up next to each other. But again, just like in the early 90s, none of these movies is like Jason X is a big bomb. So is this movie. So people just aren't going. The thing to remember is a year after this, 2003.
But that's why things just started getting rebooted this decade.
But that's just 2003 was such a key year because two huge hit horror movies come out in 2003. Freddy vs. Jason comes out in 2003, which ended up being a true. We didn't know it at the time that it'd be saying goodbye to like the original versions of these 80s icons.
Right.
And then a few months after that, Texas Chainsaw Massacre comes out and starts the reboot craze. That would lead to Rob Zombie's Halloween of like straight up.
That's part of the reboot craze for sure. Yeah.
It
was just sort of like an outside of the box pick for who was doing the remake, the director. So, before there's a lot to talk about with this movie, but we have to start with obviously the shit show that is the death of Laurie Strode, but also the drama that we didn't get into last time with H2O and the ending of that movie and the sort of the tensions between Mustafa Akkad and Jamie Lee Curtis when it came to killing Michael Myers, because within the contract, Mustafa Akkad has said you cannot kill Michael Myers in a Halloween movie.
But Jamie Lee Curtis is like, if I'm coming back to kill him, you know?
So Jamie Lee Curtis came back purposely to kill Michael Myers.
Right.
And so Kevin Williamson, sort of caught in the middle as the writer, the punch-up writer, at least in this case, had to come up with a way for Jamie Lee Curtis to both kill Michael Myers and for Michael Myers to live, which is a hard thing to do, as we said, with his head cut off, and with his head cut off being the punchline to the joke of like, how do you kill a slasher? Like that's what you do. People have been saying that for years. Why didn't you just do that to Jason? Cut his head off. Well, she did. So they had to come up with an idea. What we saw at the beginning of this movie, Michael Myers switches with a paramedic, takes his clothes, puts the paramedic in his clothes and mask, and breaks the guy's larynx so he can't speak. This was filmed at the end after production of H2O had wrapped.
I think the only thing that was shot at the end of H2O specifically
The crime
were
scene.
shots-
The crime scene.
with-
where
yeah,
he's
the
walking,
ambulance
right?
leaving. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that stuff.
And so, but again, that's just to put it into our listeners' heads that this was already the plan with H2O. And Jamie Lee Curtis apparently got so mad she was going to walk off the movie just a few weeks before production was wrapping. And basically the accord was the compromise was, you can do this, but you can't put it in this movie. People have to leave. People have to leave H2O thinking I killed Michael Myers. You can't like have him walk away in a paramedic's outfit at the end. You can't show any of the shit with him killing the paramedic and putting him in the mask.
Yeah.
But that is to say, the weird behavior that Michael exhibits at the end of that movie in H2O, when he's like, looks like he's holding his throat and reaching toward her as if to call for help or like no, or to protest, don't kill me.
But that we could interpret as a embrace of his sister.
It worked because we also thought it may have been like a weird familial embrace or like a last loving moment between siblings or something weird.
Yeah.
But when honestly it was the paramedic trying not to like say, no, it's me. Why the paramedic didn't pull off the mask, I don't know. But
yes.
So anyway.
But also the thing that I've never quite understood, and I think even reading Taking Shape, they mentioned, of course, that it was a fact, but I just don't understand how they leveraged it, how Akkad and the Weinsteins and everyone managed to get Jamie Lee Curtis contractually that they had her for this cameo. Like, she didn't agree to come back like of her own accord. When she signed to do H2O, they added onto that, like, okay, and if we do another one, you're signed already. We have you for this cameo. I'm surprised that they got her to do that, at the time.
Well, maybe she thought the cameo wouldn't be her dying in the first 10
I mean, maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe she just didn't. Also, maybe she didn't read the whole thing. I don't know what's happening. But
and also just remember that, as we're talking about this again, it's always the disjointed thing of watching these things, marathoning. We're not marathoning, watching one a week, but also the fact that this was 4 years later out there. For some reason, the movie set 3 years later. That keeps driving me crazy. I don't know. But
also, for some reason, they said he killed 4 students at that school, and he killed 2. Did he kill John and Molly too?
I don't know. We'll get into a couple other things that they get wrong with that stuff. Yeah. But also, I lost my train of thought. 3 years, 4 years. Oh yeah, that in real life, all what you're saying, Matt, about the fact that she insisted that they don't do a he'll be back ending. We could blissfully enjoy the 4 years of H2O having ended with
right, like Michael Myers is dead, until
and when they announced this movie, you're like, what? Okay, is this where they're going to go back to some crazy supernatural thing, right? Like, how will they bring him?
How does he bring him back?
Right.
The alternate titles for this movie, by the way, because I believe Resurrection, which we just went through with The Matrix, which I think was Resurrections.
It was. Yeah.
Resurrection is one of the most used sequel titles in history. Was this the first one, though, Eric?
I don't know if it was the first one ever, but it might have been one of the most high
profile. Overused. The other titles were, one was Halloween H2K, which actually is pretty awesome. I would have gone with that. Halloween, I also have a soft spot in my heart for HalloweenMichaelMyers.com, which I thought was amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so
and then also just saying the context of, like, we said how the post-Scream era was dwindled out by this point. We're 4 years out of 6 years since Scream came out. But also, when this movie comes out, the fact that reality TV had just exploded. Survivor premiered 2 years before. They referenced the Osbournes, which
they referenced Survivor too, with voting off the island,
which was in the trailer. I remember that, Katie Sackhoff saying that. And the Osbournes, which is another like hugely important reality show because it's the first of like, we're gonna follow these people at home and their crazy lives. But also we are in the post Blair Witch found footage having become a thing. This movie is not technically a found footage movie, but it's obviously evoking that with the what's happening in the house.
Except it's all dark,
right?
And so this opening with Laurie is infuriating, much like The opening with Jamie was infuriating. Maybe a
Did
little
you have
less
any
so
idea?
because
Did you have any idea? Like, I felt like you'd have a better idea of this than what happened to Jamie, but I'm not sure. I didn't know.
I knew she died.
Okay.
That's all I knew. I didn't know how. I think I knew she fell, but I didn't know from why or for where or what the context was. But so this obviously this Hicks and Newtoning comes with less rape than Jamie's time imprisoned by the cult did. So I think that's still probably the worst, but this is pretty terrible considering Laurie Strode, first notable final girl, not maybe in horror history, but like in horror legacy.
Yes.
Laurie Strode is the apex final girl. And she has been relegated to a sanitarium where she is not spoken for 3 years. Again, we're just 3 years later now. Not said a word, Eric. Where's John? Where's the whole thing with her son, John? So now we also have to deal with the fact that we grew to know this one character who we'll never see again. And is no place in this at all, because it's not like even John is carrying on the story. Like, she's locked up, and then after she dies, it cuts to John and his life and stuff like that. And he's the hero. No, it's a completely different cast of characters. So then
it's like the depressing thing of she killed the wrong guy. Her moment of victory, not just taken from her, but made worse because she did kill an innocent person. Now she's been locked up. Yes, the one little thing is that she has been planning. She knows Michael will show up, and she's been setting a trap for him, a bizarre trap, because he has to step right in that little loop.
Yeah. Well, also no rhyme or reason. Like she wasn't like waiting. I don't know if like she knew tonight's the night. No rhyme or reason for why he actually returned when he did. Right.
We're not told the date at the beginning. We don't get the October 28th or whatever. So.
Yeah, and so we don't know when this happens in context with the rest of the movie. But she also even says like, I don't know why tonight. And again, well, maybe this movie does answer where he goes. He goes to his little hidey hole room where he eats rats down in.
Well, yeah. I mean, they give you Matt a little bit of an answer for where he was in those
for 20 years. He was sitting on that stool eating a rat.
One rat.
So he has to step in that little hole and all that stuff. And so she's just been planning a trap for him every night. She just has to expect that he's gonna show up, I guess. I don't know. It sounds exhausting. And I don't know, like, I feel like lawyers could have got her out of this since she seems to be faking her mental condition and didn't have a mental snap. That, like, the fact that she didn't know she was not killing an innocent person. The nurse seemed to know the entire story. Oh, his larynx was crushed. Oh, he was put into this costume. Well, a good lawyer should have known that too and brought it up in court, perhaps.
Right, that she was tricked. Also, it's very funny to me that the nurse who tells the new young nurse the whole story, has her going in, she's like, don't let on that but then talks openly in front of Laurie about like, oh yeah, she just stares out the window. She said, don't tell on but then just talks about everything in front of Laurie. It's like,
also, like, the movie starts with voiceover from Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie saying some bullshit, kind of bullshitty Dr. Loomis heavy-handed stuff. And it is weird that that a movie opens with Laurie narrating and then she dies 10 minutes into the movie and then there's no more narration by anybody. And it's just like, why? Like, why do that? Seems
the title is 17 minutes in, Matt. So she gets a little more time than that. Not a lot.
Whatever. Also, she could survive that fall, I feel.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, and Michael certainly could. But I think you can say she died from being stabbed in the back, and then the fall is just like the.
I could also say she survived that because Busta Rhymes did.
You can,
so,
but
you can say anyone survived anything.
That it seems like she was just going to cut the rope because that would not have killed Michael.
No, it certainly would not have. Also, she was. Why did she think he would not grab her if she went to take his mask off?
Right.
Like she hasn't tied him up in any way or cut his hands off or anything like that. Why does she think he's not going to fight back if she gets close?
And we have to ask the question of how does Michael know to mimic the grabbing his head motion the paramedic did.
Yeah, was he watching him?
Was he
I don't know.
watching? Did he chase after that ambulance?
Well, he
when it
watched
crashed?
H2O. Like he's been watching H2O in that little room.
Well,
for
they
3
did
years.
watch Scream 2 and H2O, which, as we've talked about, where Halloween exists. So who knows? Maybe he did have access to H2O.
So much of this is making me angry, but yeah.
I was amused in the opening by very prominent product placement for Pepsi and Frito-Lay, who are owned by Pepsi, with the vending machines. Like they're like first on the security
it was used to separate the asylum guards, which is like one guy got hungry and so went to the vending machine.
Right. And then it actually gets a weird call out meta moment later in the movie, which is when Thomas Ian Nicholas's character says to Busta Rhymes, "You should do product placement like we could be drinking Pepsi." Specifically, he says Pepsi. Yeah. So it's it's almost Wayne's World at that point.
I have big opinions about Dangertainment that we'll get to. And
how I forgot. I'm so mad. I took it out this morning. I'm supposed to be wearing my Dangertainment t-shirt right now. And
who's that for the benefit of? Just me?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I can only see usually the top anyway. So
yeah, all right. Okay. Well, all right. I do love my Dangertainment shirt, but we'll get to Dangertainment.
So let's talk about who's in this movie. Besides Busta Rhymes, and again, we talked about this.
A lot of familiar faces.
Well, we talked about this last week, and considering it is 4 years later, it is good to see that following Deep Blue Sea, H2O, Anaconda, and probably a handful of other movies I'm forgetting, there was an era where the final two people to survive a movie were the final girl and the hip hop star.
Yeah. Although jumping ahead here, but I'm just going to say it. This is the most egregious to me because
he's like the hero. He's like kicking his ass with kung fu.
But he's not the hero until then. He is the reprehensible guy who's supposed to get a great death.
Yeah, exactly.
Freddy,
and then at the end, he has like a weird change of heart and gives a speech to the media about like how bad the media is.
But the other ones were kind of pleasant surprises. All the examples you just gave of because yes, there's the cliche of the black guy dies, but also like LL Cool J and H2O, for instance, the security guard's supposed to die. Forget what race he is. And so it's like, oh, wow, this guy made it through. And there is a kind of funny thing of like the rap star protective.
The security guard is also supposed to get lunch breaks, but we know how Hillcrest Academy works there too.
But Freddy is so written to be like the exploitive guy, like, in the script form, it's like Freddy is just like this guy who doesn't care about what he's doing here and anything to make a buck. And I'm going to give them what they want.
And there's never like a full moment, and I guess just people dying around him, but there's never really that full moment where he gets to do that believable 180, because the last big scene we see with him before he becomes a hero, like a kung fu hero, is him saying like, them discovering him in the costume and him saying like, look, we're all just in this for money, so get with me, okay? Like, join in on my con.
Right.
So yeah, Dangertainment, I don't know how they're making money. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Is this supposed to be like an internet Big Brother style reality series startup? Like it's not like an ongoing thing. This is the first season. Like there's no offices. They seem to be meeting in a university cafeteria.
Yeah.
I don't know.
By the way,
how are they monetizing this? I don't know what they're doing. The product placement thing seems fine. Like that's a good idea by Thomas Ian Nicholas.
I know, right? Listen to
how
him.
are they making any money?
This is also the Haddonfield University, which again, it's just Haddonfield didn't seem like a town that had like a university, but also I was trying to remember if it was called Haddonfield University in Curse of Michael Myers too. I think it might have been. So it's like there are different realities.
College town. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a college town now. Sure. Okay.
So, so we got Busta Rhymes. We have Tyra Banks, who vanishes for a large part of the movie, and I was thrilled to see that she died because it at least answered where she went and what happened.
Yeah. A year, obviously, Tyra Banks was already a famous model, had started to act, but a year after this, Top Model would launch and be like the next phase of her, career.
Okay, now we've got Katie Sackhoff, who I was surprised to see in this movie. Didn't know who was in it.
Oh, didn't know she was in it. Okay.
No, I didn't know. As Jen. Jen Danzig, by the way, not Glenn Danzig.
Someone had some fun there.
Just what is it? A couple years before she would start on Battlestar Galactica.
Mm-hmm.
So baby Katie Sackhoff. Then we've also got Bianca Kalich, who's done a ton of TV and was actually a regular, actually a main character on that David Spade, the sitcom that ran for like 6 or 7 years that, was on CBS so nobody knew or cared, was Rules of Engagement. She was also in that Chris Diella, however you say his name, show Undateable. She's currently married and still married to Mike Catherwood, who you and I know from the Kevin and Bean show.
And she was in Bosch, like what's his face, the character actor who's in Halloween 5. So Halloween and Bosch
go together.
Just linking up.
Then
the two people that were like very of the moment, because we're talking like Kitty Sackhoff obviously was neither
was Bianca Kalich, but Thomasine Nicholas.
Thomasine Nicholas is coming off of 2 American Pie movies at this point.
But also not just 2 American Pie movies. We joke about, well, no one really does. No one goes around just joking about Thomasine Nicholas. But the fact is that like he out of the main actors of American Pie, he's the one who sort of went on to do the least afterward, so much so that he was barely in American Wedding or Reunion or whatever the final one was Reunion, right? One, which was in 2012. But he actually went on to do musical stuff and goes around and DJs like emo nights at various places, because one was just here a few weeks ago in Dallas, what he was doing. But yeah, he's also, I don't even know what his character is aside from being like a weird creepy douche who keeps touching Jen.
He's trying to have sex with
then again, seems to be the male character here, because the other guy is just trying to have sex with the smart girl.
And then the other interesting, well, mostly I'm really impressed by the credit, but Sean Patrick Thomas as Rudy had just had a huge hit with Save the Last Dance the year before, which would have probably filmed a few months before this. So and then he was in all 3 Barbershop movies, and he's continued to work.
He was on the Purge TV series. Yeah,
this was his moment, and I just have to say kudos to his representation for getting him a prestige credit only off of Save the Last Dance. Like, there's no other reason that he has a special appearance by Sean Patrick Thomas, which is also a fascinating credit because special appearance makes you think it's a small role. He's in most of this movie. He's one of the final ones to die. I just was impressed that in a movie that was giving Tyra Banks and Jamie Lee Curtis prestige credits, he pulled that off. Just off of Save the Last Dance. So good on him.
I was wrong. That was Derek Luke in the Purge TV series, but he was in The Curse of La Llorona, so he is officially in the Conjuring verse.
A movie that Alan Sepinwall had never heard of, as we learned this morning while playing the box office game.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess he's on For All Mankind too.
There you go.
Okay. Sean Patrick Thomas. And we should also mention, so the other creepy guy trying to have sex in the haunted house is Jim, the music major, who's sort of the leather jacket wearing rocker, played by Luke Kirby, who just won an Emmy as playing Lenny Bruce on The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
That's very funny. And I'm trying to stop the let's go through every cast member thing, except I'm still going to do it for you mentioned.
That's my gig. That's my gig, man.
You mentioned he's trying to have sex with Donna, played by Daisy McCracken. I just have to say, I'm assuming this was a script thing that never changed with casting. Donna, whose last name is Chang, played by Daisy McCracken, who does not look like she has the ethnic makeup to have the last name Chang. So I'm assuming at one point they were going to cast.
Part of me wants to say that's a Seinfeld joke.
It might be.
Yes. Seinfeld, the episode where just talking over the phone, Jerry thinks he's going on a date with a Chinese woman because her name is Donna Chang. And when he finds out that she's basically just a white Jewish woman, he's really upset. He's upset because he was expecting to go out with a Chinese woman. I feel like that was a weird Seinfeld joke. Also, final one, sorry, that Luke Kirby was also on Rectify, which is an amazing show. He was a regular on that show. So, okay.
And we can move on from the prologue in a moment, but the 2 other things I wanted to say about it were That I mentioned the product placement. It's also funny to me in the footage they shot to show him swapping out with the paramedic that paramedic Michael is notably taller than that guy. I just feel like they should have gotten someone. He's a totally different body type. Whatever. And I think it's funny that they repeat a memorable moment from H2O, which is Michael's like special moves include the pipe, pulling himself down from the pipe on the ceiling. He never did it till H2O, but he does it again here. And then I will say, I do like because the prologue is like 17 minutes and it functions as its own little movie because all it does is like, here's the end of Laurie Strode. Here's the end of this character you care about. But I do like the guy that he frames, who knows all about serial killers, and handing him the knife and him mentioning everything he knows about Michael, even though that's where you mentioned how it seems like too many people are mentioned as having died in H2O. Too few people are mentioned by that guy, because he says,
he said 3 teenagers and then like 3 nurses and a paramedic or something. Yeah,
he which means that he's leaving out the truck driver who he gets the coveralls from.
Sure.
And it means he's leaving out. He's separating it by movie for us conveniently, but in real life they would say 4 teenagers, because Michael kills another girl at the beginning of Halloween 2, the girl who's on the phone with her friend.
But then he was also supposed to have killed 4 students at Hillcrest Academy, and he didn't. So
yeah. So there's
people are getting these all wrong.
A lot of facts that are
Dangertainment needs to monetize. They don't really have a great business plan. I don't even know what Freddy's plan was, the Busta Rhymes character, because like A, I don't know how he was trying to get money. B, I don't know what he was trying to do dressed like Michael Myers. He wasn't going to kill anyone.
Right.
So like he was going to just chase him around the house while they screamed. I don't know what he was planning to do. Like it would be one thing if he just stalked in the background and people watching at home were like, oh, there's Michael. But I don't know. Also, we'll bring up the fact before they go into the house, there is a catfisher named Miles going on. And the message of this movie is that catfishing is great and that you become the hero of the movie if you lie to a beautiful college student and say that you're a grad student named Deckard instead of coming clean with who you are. So
also, before we get into the house,
it is weird that he never winds up actually seeing her, and the relationship just goes to text.
Well, I'll tell you about the alternate endings I watched on the Blu-ray, on the Scream Factory Blu-ray last night, Matt, at the end, because one of them they did see each other.
I'm not wanting to praise this movie at all, but I do like the end when she just starts chainsawing him in the shoulder. That was fun.
Before we go into the house, we also begin with Haddonfield University and a professor giving a speech that's sort of like trying to make this all a little more
it's like trying too hard to be thematic,
because he talks about young, and he talks about a dark malevolent figure, a boogeyman, if you will, called the Shadow, which is obviously very similar to the Shape. So they're trying to kind of tie this all in, but I also want to mention that professor is played by Rick Rosenthal, the director of this film and the following two.
And I also want to mention that for a brief moment, when Bianca Kalich screamed and shattered the glass, I thought she was telepathic. I was like, oh my God, does she have is this new blood?
Right. Because
I thought she had powers.
Well, A, she's not. B, it's insane.
Also, if she had powers, it would make that character interesting, because she's not. But yeah.
And she's not, and her shattering the glass is just bizarre. But also because there's this tiny, it's like, okay, Laurie's dead. She's gonna be, and again, I think in script form, until they got Busta Rhymes, Freddy was probably just supposed to be this asshole who dies at the end. So she's our hero in theory, but it's like they have this tiny little, because she does imagine seeing Michael even before they go in the house. So it's like, is she significant? Is she connected? Or does she have powers? Something, but none of it means anything. She's not any of those things. It's just like she's just some girl. She's just some drip.
She is a drip, and she's got like her crazy friend Jen, who's just the more outgoing one,
and really wants to be famous. Jen.
They're both friends with Rudy, who's like a chef, but also into really talking about people's diets, and sometimes he's wants people to eat more protein, but then he tells Michael to eat less protein. I don't know. I thought he was pro protein, but I don't think he gets his protein story straight. And then, yeah, I was really hoping she had powers because she is very uninteresting. And she's almost even like goes to Freddie and says, "Hey, I want to drop out of this because I'm boring as shit. Like, I don't want you to do this."
And because Freddie is like, make good TV because he's like, I guess the viewers can switch between their cameras. So he's like, you have to be entertaining. I'm like, well, she's not going to be entertaining.
Yeah,
so she's
exactly
right. At least she has self-awareness about it. I did like the line when the weird guy comes into their dorm room, and then it turns out he's doing a bit, who's like the you're all doomed guy. But I did like the line, one day he picked up a knife and he never put it down again. That was a good line. There's not a lot I can say good about this movie, so I'll give it to them. And of course, you get the teehee, things are dated. So this is cutting edge technology, but of course we're talking about Yahoo chat rooms.
Yeah, of course. As you are giving faint praise to this movie, I will also mention a scene I liked, which was when Miles, aka Deckard, takes a break from the Halloween party to find a computer and watch this episode, this Dangertainment bonanza at the Michael Myers house, because he promised Sarah that he'd watch the episode. That the couple breaks in to have sex. They like bust into the room to have sex, and they're like, "What are you watching?" And he's like, "This. You want to watch?" And the girl's like, "Yeah." And then when they cut back, more people are just
there's like a bunch of people there.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Because it's like because the whole thing is like his roommate for the first two scenes, or his friend at least, who just sits across from him at the in the chair while he's on the computer yelling at him all the whole time. Like, "You fucking nerd." It's like, get off that computer and come to this party and be like a real man and check out all the honeys. And then all the party wants to do is watch the horror show on TV. So I thought that was funny.
Anyway. I'd like to assume it was all couples who were trying to have sex who came in one.
They just kept busting in one after the other.
Also, the strangeness of Miles and his friend are dressed like Jules and Vince from Pulp Fiction. Okay, it's a Miramax movie. This is Weinstein.
But then he has to say, "I wonder if anyone knows where the
which
guy's
is ADR, which is extremely funny because it's an ADR line." Not on,
but it's also like the two of them are wondering if the people at the party will know who they are dressed like.
Right,
but the ADR line is the studio wondering if the people in the audience
exactly
are know who
because this
like.
is 8 years after Pulp Fiction, and as we were in college after Pulp Fiction, and yes, everyone was obsessed with Pulp Fiction, but this is a little late to have this happen. So that was a weird. I do like that the ADR they second guessed themselves and ADR that in. Also, let's talk about. I mean, thank God his douchebag friend is not in actual blackface as Jules.
Oh my God! Yeah, they dodged. They kind of dodged a big ass bullet there.
But his facial hair is wrong, and he has a comb in his hair, which is not something Jules has in that movie.
No,
so they're still cringe about it.
Maybe I think he was combing his hair at one point, but he never stuck the comb.
Like he did not stick his comb in the hair 70s style.
Okay.
This guy.
What? Laurie's dead. If these assholes didn't decide to just go into Michael Myers' house, but by the way, legally, what's happening? Like they could just do this. What's going on with this house? I don't know what the situation is. Do they have the cops okay?
I will say though, they take a lot of license with the interior. At least the exterior looks reasonably like a rundown version of the original Michael Myers house, unlike certainly 5, but even 6, where they didn't even seem to try.
So what was Michael's life going to be at this point? Now that he finally killed Laurie Strode,
right,
he sat around for 20 years trying to find her, or at least sat around for 20 years and then decided, hey, maybe I should try to find her.
Right.
Tried to, didn't work, waited 3 more years. Finally killed her. So now what are we? We are 23 years after he first tried to kill her. What's life going to be like for Michael? What
do I do next?
Yeah, he's at a real crossroads here. Because obviously he can go back to his little room. Beneath this suburban home, that there's apparently this giant dungeon going down there.
He's in his mid-40s. He's got to be thinking about, what's next for me?
Yeah, like I mean, it's kind of time to settle down, Michael. I don't know. Leave you've sowed your wild oats. But yeah, like if these guys didn't come knocking, like he would just sit there staring at a wall, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they disturbed him. And again, we also don't know how much longer after he killed Lori this takes place. Could have been a year. I don't know.
Right. Also, so let's talk about this. Is they're going through the house. This is which is a creepy old like haunted house looking thing. I will say I remember seeing this in the theater and thinking it was very bad and and disappointing. But the one thing I remember feeling relief about was the reveal later that Freddy set up all this stuff, because not only is there like, and I'm glad that I think it's Rudy who brings up like, why is this stuff still in this house? But also when they find, the first big thing is they find the baby chair with the straps and the lock on it.
And so
and
like
I was like,
thing
no.
was like, that they were going to actually retcon it into
yeah.
the fact that he was like an abused child, when the whole point of Michael Myers is that he was a normal, loved child who just one day was consumed by this ethereal darkness and
even
sister unexplained.
Even as batshit crazy as Curse of Michael Myers is, with like there's a druid cult and constellation, it still said this was something outside the normal suburban house. It didn't say the Myers were actually insane, dark, evil, twisted people. So I was in the theater remembering going like, no. So I was glad to find out that that's
because Dr. Loomis would have been like, oh, this is an abused boy.
Right.
He wouldn't like have spent like years and years trying to like crack the puzzle that is Michael Myers like snap.
Right. But we still have to roll with, regardless, the fact that it turns out that there was like intricate multiple like basement tunnels beneath the Myers house.
And we also have to contend with and sort of compartmentalize in our brains the replenishing of the spices. What's going on with this? Why is there new tarragon? What is happening?
Why did Freddy think that was necessary?
Like I don't know. Like, was that something he brought in along with like the giant knife and then all the like weird, like creepy drawings to make him seem like a demon kid? Like I don't know why he needed to like do that. Maybe because he knew Rudy would go right for the kitchen. I don't know. Look. He's playing 4D chess. Freddy is. And so then we just get a lot of bumbling around the house. Bill, American Pie guy, gets killed. I guess nobody sees it, even though it was on camera.
That was the weirdest. Like, why does nobody see? I guess
people watching
because they thought he was boring and no one was on his camera.
Yeah, like nobody clicked on Bill.
Nobody followed Bill.
And then he was trying to. He's creepily get with Jen. She teases him like she's going to flash him, but then no. But Jim does get with Donna Chang, and they go down into that, as you mentioned, that giant basement with the weird-ass key that opens the floor slot.
Yeah.
And then even beyond that, because Freddy set up... Well, also,
fake
Freddy was
bodies.
assuming people were going to go down in there, so he set up all those fake bodies to come out of the wall. He's like... People are definitely going to come down here. People are definitely going to lay right here to have sex. And so this wall needs to crumble. Again, he's on another level, Freddy. He's
Dangertained would have taken off if not for Michael Myers.
But then, so not only is there that bizarre dungeon down there, there's the room beyond the room, which is Michael's domain. And then even in Michael's domain, there's like another tunnel that leads to a gate that you can't get past. So we don't even know it's beyond that.
All right. There is a lot going on with that we have to think about here with the buildings in Haddonfield. I'll mention backtracking a tiny bit again, faint praise where I can fit it in. We've mentioned how there's always the attempts to replicate the original movies of Michael lurking places, and they never do it right, or it's even clunky or silly. I will say one of the few cool little moments in this movie is when Rudy, Sean Patrick Thomas, when he walks into the room, he's panning the room with a flashlight. Someone calls to him and he turns to talk to them, and we see his flashlight go onto Michael, but he doesn't. That was a cool one cool little like hidden Michael.
Stop loving this movie so much.
Stop loving this movie. It's my favorite movie, and I will do nothing crazy. Also, I had a hey, it's that guy moment when one has there keeps being more and more teens in watching the feed, and we see one guy like walk in going, is this that Michael Myers thing? And I instantly recognized him as from 2003's aforementioned Freddy versus Jason. That's Kyle Labine, brother of Tyler Labine, who plays Freeberg, the obviously copied from Jay and Silent Bob fame character in Freddy versus Jason, which made me think this movie is probably filmed in Canada, which Katie Sackhoff being in it was my other telltale about that.
Right. So then Michael Michael started killing people as soon as they kind of got into the house. He kills the film guy, the camera guy, Charlie. He stabs him with a tripod. And then he kills Bill later on. And then
Katie Sackhoff's American. I want to correct myself. Sorry. There you go.
And then he finally kills he just actually kind of kills a bunch of people in the row at the end. Like he kills Donna.
Well, there's after he kills the camera guy, there's not any deaths until Bill, and then they're all pretty rapid.
And then so it's like Donna, then he kills Jim. He lifts him up by the head and he does like the head crush thing. And I was expecting some gore effects. Like obviously his head's bloody, but I thought we'd see like from behind his head crush in or something like that. Nope. Just got
also
a lot of
weird moment because Michael makes the conscious decision. It's like you feel like there should have been more buildup for why he is mad at this guy, because he's holding his knife and he stabs the wall next to him, like purposely.
Yeah, Michael, like you don't get the knife, you get the hands. I don't know why that decision was made. Yeah,
I'm going Halloween 4 style here.
He cut Katie Sackhoff's head off, and then I think
with a fucking butcher knife. That's impressive.
I think first of all,
it's a big knife.
The first part of this movie where he's going after Laurie Strode, he full on Kool-Aid Man's through the wall. Like he just and there's that weird shot where it's a POV, but I guess it's shaking like he's banging. It's poorly done where he's like banging.
The thing is, it's very poorly. Like this movie looks cheap, and there's a difference between low budget and cheap, because 4 and 5 are obviously low budget movies, but they don't look cheap in the way this one does. Like that sort of cheesy cheap.
This movie was still made for $15 million. I feel like it should look better. But yeah, he full on breaks through the wall. And just the last movie in H2O, we saw him fumbling for keys. I'm just saying, like, we're trying to unlock a gate. When he could have just juggernauted through the metal, apparently. And all these, like, after, again, it's like when you establish something that crazy, then he can just crash through anything.
Right.
Okay.
Why does he just do that all the time?
I think he also, Derek, let's see. Does he pick up Rudy by the dick?
Oh, no, he gets electrocuted in the dick later.
He does get electrocuted in the dick, but the way that it's edited, the kitchen fight that he has with Rudy, which Rudy gets to go out. He gets more of a fight than most people. Not like Busta Rhymes, but he gets
a special appearance by fight.
Yeah, I feel like Michael reaches. He blocks one shot. He blocks the other shot. Right. So he's got both of
Rudy's got two knives.
Both of Sean Patrick Thomas's arms out. Then Michael's hands go down, and he like together, and he lifts Rudy up. And I feel like he grabbed him by the dick and was lifting him up by the dick. Now he doesn't kill him like that because he stabs him with a bunch of knives through the door. But like, I felt like it was edited to make it look like he was lifting him by the junk. Okay, let's see.
Well, let's talk about when we first establish Freddy and the Michael costume. That sounds funny, but only because again, my faint praise. There's one cool shot I like of the camera, the in-universe camera of Michael stalking Michael. It's a fun little shot, but then becomes
this movie.
Then becomes the first of the Jesus Christ cringe. Not just that Busta Rhymes gets rap star up shield, that he gets like the first time Busta Rhymes in another movie, in any other movie, Freddy should be killed horribly when he tells off Michael thinking it's the cameraman.
Right.
And is like taps him on the head and is like, "What, you idiot?" Like, get in and ordering him around, and why Michael doesn't kill him but instead just leaves. It's maddening, Matt.
I know, but then, and it's also another thing to go from like Busta Rhymes watching Kung Fu in his house to being like, I'm a martial arts master who can take down a guy that can walk through walls. So
but then also, and then you have the kids watching who at first everyone except Miles thinks these are part of the show. And they're
Miles starts texting Lone Survivor at this point because we think she's the only one left. So it's texting Sarah, helping her get through the house. Like, he's coming up the stairs. Don't go to the window.
And this is where a better movie. This is not a bad idea. This stuff. And
Ryan Merriman, who plays Miles, has been in a ton of things too. Was recurring on Pretty Little Liars. Was on a ton of. I think, is he Canadian? Maybe, I don't know. No, he's American too.
But yeah, conceptually, especially in 2002, it would be pretty fresh idea, fresh and cool. No, the idea that watching this on the internet and you're texting trying to warn someone, not a bad idea. It's just all done in a really unscary or interesting way.
Yeah.
And then also, this is where the movie, again, there's trying to be a little commentary here. It just all falls flat, which is two things, which is one, Freddy gets not his later speech, but he gets a little speech when he's talking about why he's dressed as Michael and all that. He goes, America doesn't like reality. First of all, they want razzle dazzle. So there's the I'm going to feed them what they want. But then there's also when the other kids at the party, when they think it's fake at first, them cheering on Michael killing. So it's trying to be a dark reflection. But all I thought about is how better the opening of Scream 2 is when they're all screaming and cheering as Jada Pinkett is killed, only to have this moment where they realize it's real. And that's a very effective moment, but here it's just all not done well. So.
Well, that's a movie in this universe, so
that's true.
The kids are just cheering. It's like we saw in Scream 2 at the Stab premiere.
Right.
Yeah. So all of this stuff, also, again, as we mentioned, doesn't look great. It's kind of hard to put together. It's all kind of dark. We cut continuously back to the awful looking body cams. And editing wise, it's all done quickly, and there's staticky and grainy. Basically, Sarah spends a lot of time trying to get away from Michael. She goes up on the roof, but then she winds up down in the basement, and then she winds up in the garage where she discovers Tyra Banks' body, Nora's body, dead.
Let me backtrack for 1 second, because now that we're in the garage, because that's where the final fight will happen. Just to say that when Freddy first Kung Fu attacks, and yes, again, I saw this with an audience that was thought it was very funny that Freddy told Michael to leave, and they thought it was great when he kicked him. But if Freddy had karate kicked him, because when he first kicks Michael, it doesn't really hurt Michael. And there's the version of this scene where Michael just fucking kills him. But instead, he gets to kick him again, and he kicks him out the window. And that's where I wrote, fuck this, in my notes.
Yeah.
Because it's
he just kicked harder. It's fine.
Yeah, he gets to really it just seems like it's all acquiescing to Busta Rhymes to be
yeah,
he gets to kick Michael's ass in this scene. Even though after that, Michael does stab Freddy, and it looks like Freddy's dead. And there was a version based on one of the alternate endings that's on the Blu-ray where I think he was supposed to be dead and didn't come back. We'll get to that.
You can forgive the kick out the window more if it leads to him killing Freddy.
But it doesn't.
And then Tyra Banks doesn't. And then it leads to more martial arts later.
Yes. Tyra is dead. Shitload of blood. Damn. Yeah.
Well, she did drink that delicious looking mochaccino with all the whipped cream or something.
That's true.
That makes you more bloody. Everyone knows this. Yeah, and then there's the cool moment because we love this movie so much where Sarah attacks him with the chainsaw. Also,
she does, and the other cool moment, because it's the best movie ever. They do. It's funny. And I remember this. You were mad on Halloween 6, where they suddenly do some direct pulls from the original. But it is funny. They do something that hadn't been done in a long time, which is he does what I'm calling it. I'm using the person who's referencing him, but he does the Undertaker sit up in the background.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he hadn't
Well,
done
you
that
mean
in
when
forever.
when everything lights on fire? You mean?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
sits up. Yeah. Again, Busta Rhymes kicks him out a window. She chainsaws his body, and he doesn't even fall down. He doesn't even do anything. He just keeps going forward.
She doesn't have that Busta kick power. And then Trick or Treat Motherfucker, which was in the trailer. Of course, they cut off before he said the last word.
And then he's followed up in a few minutes by Happy Fucking Halloween,
and the indignity of Michael Myers getting shocked in the balls.
shocked in the balls, and then leads him back to more shocking, and then more fire, and none of it obviously makes us think he's dead.
But a lot of like Busta Rhymes, like Motherfucker was just like his favorite thing. So burn Motherfucker burn. Hey Mikey, Happy Fucking Halloween. Whatever. Again, the sort of glee, but for a character who is not who's supposed to have, if not a comeuppance and a death, should have a oh my god, I caused all this, but instead it's just like we got him.
But it's like but then even his speech at the end didn't make any sense, because he's like, Michael Myers is not a soundbite, he's a killer shark in baggy ass overalls. I don't know what, like, does one like preclude the other? Like, I don't understand. Like, why can't a killer shark in baggy ass overalls? That sounds like a soundbite to me, by the way. Right. And he's like, we're done dancing for these cameras. You mean your cameras? They were your cameras.
Well, originally, this is some different news cameras.
He's like, but I'm not done dancing from my own cameras.
Right. Well, he says,
I swear the autopsy woman who's left alone in the room when Michael Myers opens his eyes at the end was somebody. She looked very familiar, but then she's not easily track downable.
Well, the other person who was actually a very familiar, and it's just she's in things, is the nurse who tells the young nurse the story of Michael Myers at the beginning.
What was she in? What she in?
I don't remember. I just knew I'd seen
Tell me all the things she's in.
I don't remember. So Michael opens his eyes. So this movie does do the like he's not really dead, but of course we didn't think he's already survived another bigger fire in Halloween 2. So why would this one stop him? And it's not quite clear, like, did the entire house burn down, but the garage certainly burnt down.
I don't know. And it turns out I think I'm on IMDb now. I'm just as wrong about the coroner being in other things as I am about us having done the Karate Kid franchise on the podcast, which is, I think her name is Ananda, which is like Ananda Thorson, and her only credit is this movie.
Which you'd never seen before.
Which I'd never seen at all until right now.
And I forgot that Freddy, when they look at Michael, we don't see him yet, but they look at him burnt, says some chicken fried motherfucker, which is when I put in my notes, calm down, Freddy, because it's like he just gets one after the other of these lines at the end. It's just like, like, how many can he do?
So what is the other version of this movie where
there were
Miles
actually
meets
multiple
Sarah?
There's multiple alternate endings. Like, it just seems like they shot a bunch of different stuff, but one of them is what appears to me must have happened. We don't get all the context, but Freddy's not even there. So I think Freddy's probably still dead inside the, like, in this version, I don't think Freddy came back. And I think somehow Sarah knocks Michael into like the thing where he's getting on fire, but she's still trapped underneath. And so she's going to die in the fire too. And then the door gets kicked in and it's Miles. And he picks her up and saves her.
Okay. I mean, I don't hate it.
And so they do have a moment where they meet at the end. Then there's an alternate ending where it's the we want to see him moment. Freddy is there. But Michael opens his eyes then. This is a funny one, Matt, because he opens his eyes and grabs Freddy by the throat. They're just like the paramedics. Everyone's there. And he's choking Freddy. But then Sarah grabs a fire axe and slams it into Michael, like straight through his head. Like, doesn't cut his head in two, but like into the middle of his head. Michael falls down dead. And then this is how I wish the movie had ended almost like this, because Freddy, Busta Rhymes, he sits up. Michael Myers just almost fucking choked him and killed him. he sees Michael dead and he's fine now, Freddy. And he says to Sarah, "You big ass kicking, ball busting chick. God bless you," and grins at her. And that would have been the end of the movie. That was a good one.
I mean, I liked it right up until that line. I was like, okay, that could have worked too.
Could have worked too. And then there was some other one where like someone like Michael gets into some manhole cover or something. Someone looks down a manhole cover and he grabs her. I can't remember something.
And it's just Michael doing a promotional spot for Pepsi. He's
Yes,
like, I took Bill's advice.
I got a Pepsi down here. It's delicious. One thing I put in big all caps bold
is fuck you movie.
No, is The Masks, because we had not talked. This is the third movie in a row. We hadn't talked about the progression of the mask and the changing mask. So just to quickly, all I wanted to quickly say is they continue to never quite get it right replicating the mask. Of these last three, I'd say Curse of Michael Myers has the best looking mask. It's decent. Followed by this one at points, but this one's kind of weird too. It's too angular. Sometimes the hair's too big. But what we never talked about is H2O and what a clusterfuck they had with the mask on that one. And that H2O has 3 different masks. To the point that in the trailer, when they see each other with the big moment through the door, it's a different mask than it's actually in the movie. Because no one liked the mask that they shot most of the movie with, and then they reshot most of Michael's like close-ups or scenes where you saw the mask clearly with a different mask that looked better but still not great. But H2O also has a couple shots with a CGI mask because they were trying to fix it. So yeah, just the weird, we can never get that mask right of it all. And that H2O, easily the best of these 3 movies, easily the only hit of these 3 movies, also has the worst mask and the weirdest mask issues on set. Wanted to mention that because we hadn't been charting the masks.
Speaking of H2O, when he busts through the sanitarium door into Laurie's room, he is beating against a door that has another like round porthole style window.
Yes.
And when he was walking up to it, because I hadn't seen this movie, I expected her to look at him through it again, and it didn't happen.
Nope. Instead, they did their callback was the pulling himself down from the pipe on the ceiling. That was
much better callback, honestly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is like, again, the echoes of 6. There's the stuff with him walking through like underground tunnels at a hospital at the beginning. Made me think of 6. The horrible killing of our heroine at the very beginning in a way that in no way, because I'm not against ever seeing Michael kill Laurie Strode. It's just not like this. Like, this is not the, this is not the, like, cool ending for her. I think it was, I think Jamie Lee Curtis might have improv kissing him, which is a nice, weird beat. She kisses him on the mask before she falls to her death. But yeah, and the trailer to this movie, which, shows you, it like builds up to the reveal that it's about Michael Myers movie. It's just like they're gonna go in this house and all this stuff, and then you see it's Michael. But save for the very end, her on the roof being like, "Hello, Michael." And I remember people cheering. Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is back in this one.
Oh yeah, it was a flim flam, a bamboozle.
Yeah, and the poster, which uses they couldn't get her to do new photos, so the poster has her with short hair from H2O, not the long hair wig, the old school Laurie wig that she wears in this movie. So there you go.
Who's Halloween on the poster?
I will say, Matt,
it's her, Tyra Banks, Busta Rhymes. Who else is on it?
I think
Bianca Kallich is in it.
Yeah, I think Sean Patrick Thomas is on the poster too.
Sean Patrick, is that Bianca Kallich in the top? Yeah, I guess it is. And Sean Patrick Thomas. Okay.
Yeah. I will say, Matt, it's so interesting that you hadn't seen that 6 and 8. Because we talked about the slasher movie series and where there's a lot of bad installments, and then you still can have affection for movies are bad outside of it. For me, and I think for most fans, but again, any opinion is a correct opinion. This Resurrection is worse than 6. But at the same time, of course, I've had decades to live with both these movies. But ultimately, I will say I do think 6 is more rewatchable just because 6 has so much going on. It's all weird and bad and crazy, but it's just like 6 is throwing so much at the screen. Whereas this one is just like, okay, they've got a concept that's not terrible, but none of it's very interesting. They both have really horrible like beginnings. I don't know. It's a toss up, but I do think I would watch 6 before I'd watch this one again. Just because, yeah. There you go.
But we so clearly love this movie with all the adoration we bestowed it.
We did. We gave it lots of adoration.
All right. Man, I am sick of all this. When do we get I don't think we get a good Halloween movie for another 3 weeks, but yeah, okay.
We don't, although I am curious to revisit his second one, A, because it's the one I've seen least completely. And B, it seems to have it's grown a little bit more of a fan base. Again, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves.
Halloween 2?
Zombies Halloween 2 has its fans for doing its own thing so completely. We'll get to it. I don't agree. I remember the theater I certainly didn't agree. I just hated it. But I'm curious what I think now. It is there's some rough stuff in these next two. I say rough both content wise and also just approach wise. But we'll get through this together, everyone.
We will. I also feel like if anything, the next two movies, or at least we're going into the reboot, will because it's a reboot with characters from the first movie. Some fun character actors coming our way, like some interesting people that that we're fans of from other things about to.
Yes, and Rob Zombie, and because Rob Zombie has a huge horror fan, liking to cast people from genre stuff who we like as well.
Yeah. All right. Until next time, everything is possible, but nothing is real. And Shockma.
Dangertainment, Shockma.